Next up, we are looking at ENFPs and the conscientiousness trait. So there's two aspects to conscientiousness. There's industrialness and there is orderliness. Industrialness is essentially ability to focus, and you could say work ethic, but it's not exactly work ethic because it's not as much your desire per se, but it's ultimately what you do. So people who are low in industrialness are going to have trouble just focusing on the same thing, may get easily distracted, may want to know the reason behind why they do stuff. People who are high in this trait may like to just achieve. They like to get their work done. They like to just do things. It doesn't almost matter what the things are to some extent. Orderliness is what it sounds like. Essentially, do we have a lot of structure? Do we keep things clean? How would our rooms look is a good way to think of orderliness as well. So how might ENFPs do on these? Well, probably pretty low, let's be honest with that. This is one that is quite clear where ENFPs are going to score low. Again, though, these all do come on a spectrum. So perhaps you are an ENFP, but you actually are pretty good at focusing and you're not that disorganized relative to other ENFPs you talk to. Then you're probably going to score more moderate on the orderliness and that, right? So we all operate within a spectrum. There's not just one ENFP. Keep all that in mind. So what's the upside to being low on conscientiousness, aside from annoying whoever you live with, which can be fun in itself? Well, the upside is we tend to be more creative. We also tend to be less judgmental and more accepting of other people. And that can be very positive. For instance, if you're a psychologist and you're extremely judgmental, say even like you're a personal trainer, and I'm guessing a lot of personal trainers are quite high on conscientiousness. It makes sense. If they look the part, they're probably moderate to high on conscientiousness. Not all though. I know ENFPs who are great personal trainers and very fit and everything like that. But again, we're talking on averages here with this whole series. If you're really judgmental of people who cannot be orderly and cannot just sit and work and etc., you might struggle as a teacher. Like your students are going to see that. You're going to ruin their self-esteem. You're going to maybe create a divide with clients. If you're a personal trainer, you're not going to be able to work with someone who's very low in conscientiousness. And if they can see that you're judging them, that you're just you're so orderly, you're so hardworking that they just feel bad being around you. Actually, when I first came to Spain here, I started working with this trainer for a few sessions, and he was like a little pudgy, like probably more pudgy than me, which is totally okay, but it was a little weird, right, as your personal trainer. And I figured out his target market was, I think, somewhat older people who didn't work out and like would feel totally uncomfortable with a trainer who was like really ripped, Mr. America or Miss Bodybuilder, whoever. And so that was like his thing. He was like really baby faced and really nice and not in that great of shape. And I think it worked for him, so good on him. Now, with that said, we live in a world where you do need to get things done and you do need to be somewhat organized. So what should you do if you are low in conscientiousness to ensure that you end up having a great life? Well, there's lots of different advice. I mean, we could make a 2-hour video series just on this topic, but I'm going to give you one piece of advice here that I think if you can implement will make all the difference. Whatever it is that your creativity or intellect allows you to do, even if you are disorganized, even if you are not the best at sitting down and working for 10 hours, get really good at that. If you get really good at a few things, or even just one thing that uses your creativity and is of high value, then everything else can get figured out. Whether it's that you build your own business or sell your art around the world and then can afford to hire an assistant and a cleaner and everything else, or whether you're in a company and the company sees, wow, this person is so good at this one thing that we will make sure that they have the infrastructure around them to let them thrive. That would be my advice. Yes, there's other things you can do. You can pick up some tricks to be a little more organized. You can get help on your accounting from someone and all this, but those are band-aids. And ultimately, you're putting band-aids on something that isn't a wound. This is who you are. And so the fact that you are low in conscientiousness occasionally just means you're going to lie on the beach your whole life and, that's it. But in many cases, it means you're going to be much more creative and have other abilities that people who are really boxed in, which is related to conscientiousness, won't have. So these traits work together. People who are low in conscientiousness are good with change. They're very flexible. Like something in the world changes. Like 2020 when I'm filming this, I can't think of anything that's really happened this year that might be easier for people who are good with handling change and comfortable with variety and uncertainty. Can't think of anything that's really been happening this year. But maybe in other years when the world is crazy, people who are low in conscientiousness can actually do better, because if someone's built all their life on orderliness and things have to stay the same, it's kind of tough for them when things are changing all the time, right? So there's a reason, like evolutionarily, that a lot of us are low in conscientiousness. We serve a purpose, and that's what you have to work on. Don't try to band-aid this supposed wound, which isn't a wound, but a lot of teachers or shitty managers or whoever might tell you it is. Instead, focus on what you do really great because of this, and then just get good at that, earn lots of money for that, and then you can handle the little things that come up in life, maybe as a result of not being too clean. So the video you've just watched is part of a series I'm filming on the ENFP and the Big Five. If this is a topic that's interesting to you, and it should be, not only is it fascinating, but the ability to apply this knowledge to your own life is pretty limitless, then you can head to dreamsaroundtheworld.com/ENFP Big Five. And when you do so, you'll have the ability to sign up for a few cool things. First, you can get notified when I publish each new video in the series. Next, when the series is finished, we'll send you a summary email with links to all the videos in the series, as well as a written edition of all these videos. So a summarized article form breaking down all the key points in this entire series. You can keep that, you can print it out, read it on digital, whatever you want. Plus, I'm going to include a bonus video where I reveal my Big Five personality traits on all 10 dimensions, as well as some extra tips for ENFPs that I haven't had time to include here. So you can get all of that at dreamsaroundtheworld.com/ENFP Big Five.